Will complaining about your IELTS test results affect your future test scores? In Australia, consumer complaints are usually very successful, as the Australian consumer law can protect a person in Australia who buys an IELTS test from IDP Education. An IELTS English test candidate is protected by the Australian consumer law. IELTS is not allowed to break the Australian consumer law like any other company in Australia. The main reason why IDP Education may get away with excessively failing test candidates is because statistically, test candidates will not complain. New immigrants to Australia are not as likely to complain as much as local Australian citizens, because immigrants who move to Australia from a country that may not have as fair laws as the Australian and are not familiar with the Australian laws and customs. We believe immigrants moving to Australia don't understand that they also have rights in Australia, like Australian citizens. As soon as an immigrant puts their hand up to complain, I think they will be very surprised how much the Australian government will help rectify the unfairness of their complaint. If you don't complain, the Australian consumer law can't help you. The reason why pursuing a complaint is so easy is that about 3% of immigrants may have the initiative and courage to complain. Are you one of the 3%? If only 3% of test takers do complain, it would be financially beneficial for IDP Education to fail excessive amounts of test candidates, to consequently increase their revenue and reimburse the 3% who do complain. These statistics are my personal estimates, as it is impossible to know exactly how many people do the test and how many people complain on their own and were successful. Some immigrants who attempt the test are scared to complain. Those test candidates think that if they complain, the testing company may fail them in their future tests, so they can never pass and get their permanent residency in Australia. This is completely untrue. In Australia, companies like IDP Education are very lucky to have a monopoly. They may abuse their privilege and may excessively fail students, but they will not unfairly mark a student, as the Department of Immigration would terminate their English test from being a migration requirement. We encourage you to complain to try to get back your money that you paid. Alternatively, get your test remarked to a higher score.